The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my God!
Yeah. What's good? What's good? What is good, everybody? It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Live. We are live and back in action, breaking down the Chicago Bears. Topics on the show today. Have the Bears done enough this offseason? We got a couple articles that have been written about what the Bears have done and how they've abandoned Justin Fields. Gonna dive into that and break all of that down. On the other side of it, also talking about some of the free agents that are still available, some signings that the Chicago Bears have recently made, and also got to get into the ramifications of Lonzo Ball's knee. What is that gonna mean for the Chicago Bulls going forward? All that and more on the show today. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. Make sure that y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the page, because we do talk Chicago sports daily. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. How y'all feeling today, man? What's going on? Day 2, feeling healthy, back and better than ever. Feels good to be in front of the screen. This is what we play for. This is what we live for, right? Another episode, another day, more Bears talk, more Bears news. Getting the show started with some Bears news. They signed Sean Coleman. Another name that they throw at the wall, and I think it fits with the topic perfectly. And we'll get into all of that. Shout out to the chat pulling up as well. Robert Schwartz in here. What's good, Robert? Maurice Drake in here. What's good, Maurice? Bob in the chat. What's going on, Bob? An article yesterday came out. Let me grab this too. I can see a little better with the tablet. You know what I'm saying? Prodigy's in this month. An article came out yesterday. That the Chicago Bears not only haven't done enough for Justin Fields, but they just haven't done enough for the team as a whole this offseason. And I don't know if I agree with that 100%. I will say there's some things that I think that we thought we were going to get, but I don't know if I agree with that 100%, right? But we'll get into all that and more. I feel like there's a lot of it's weird, right? Doesn't it feel like there's an overwhelming amount of hate on the Bears? Like, it's overwhelming at this point. Like, listen, the Bears were a bad football team last year, but now it's like there's a ridiculous amount of hate coming the Bears' way. There's a ridiculous amount of hate coming the Bears' way. Like, now it's like the trendy thing. It's the thing that's going to get people to talk about you on sports radio. It's what's going to get Dan Orlovsky's name mentioned around ESPN. It's what's going to get, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the trendy thing to do now. Because listen, there's not this smoke for Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. They were awful last year. Like, now it's getting weird a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But I will say, at a minimum, I can deal with differing opinions if they are well thought out opinions. if it's not just you saying, oh, the Bears are going to be like Dan Orlovsky's wasn't well thought out. Dan Orlovsky essentially was like, hey, the Bears are bad, but if they're good, Justin Fields will be the MVP. That's called CYA. That's called I'm going to cover every section of this field that I can to try and cover my butt. You know what I'm saying? To try and make it so that even if I'm wrong, I'm still right. That's what it feels like a little bit with Dan Orlovsky's take. But an article came out yesterday. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you are in here. Go ahead and
push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button. Yeah, come on, push the button.
hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us. Double check, make sure the music playing through here. All right, cool. Mug was tweaking, man. Stuff wasn't in the same space when I left it. You know what I'm saying? You go away for a week and stuff literally just be like, hey, I'm not where you left me. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I be having to double check stuff now that I'm in here day 2. But Mike Tanner wrote an article. He's from the Football Outsiders. He's a guy that features in PFF regularly. And it's called The Reckless Abandonment of Justin Fields. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, right? I'm not going to sit there and read you the entire article. If you want to check it out, I'll retweet it out over on Twitter as well. But he essentially goes into different reasons why he feels like the Bears have not put Justin Fields in a position to be successful. He talks about how Darnell Mooney, who ranked 63rd in DYAR last season, though a putrid offense and revolving door quarterback situation clearly nerfed his metrics, Mooney would be a wide receiver 2 on a real offense. Talked about bringing in Equinemius St. Brown, a former charter member of the Aaron Rodgers Shame Squadron. Talked about Byron Pringle, who caught 42 passes and ranked 2nd in DVOA in his 3rd NFL season in 2021, with much of the production coming when the Chiefs downshifted into short passing mode against 9 two-stop deep shells. Most of Pringle's catches came over short middle of the field. It sure sounds like Pringle's success was the residue of playing with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, but let's charitably pencil him in as an adequate slot receiver. He goes on to break down the rest of the receivers. And then he says, there's no way to shine up this stink nugget. He essentially calls him a turd. There's no way to shine up this stink nugget of a receiver core. And there's no way a tight end core headlined by Cole Kmet will take any pressure off of the receivers of Fields. Here's the part where I'll give him a little bit of credit, because he does take a lot of the points that people have said and he addresses his opinion on them. The Bears have needs everywhere. This is something that we've said. We said during the draft, right? Like, I feel like we fixed our secondary. I told you I would have wanted to go with a wide receiver in that second pick, right? It says the Bears have needs everywhere. True, either developing or getting accurate evaluation of their potential franchise quarterback is a more pressing need than bolstering a secondary a smidge. Here's my debate to that. And I feel like he voiced his opinions well, talking about Brisker and Gordon, saying that there were receivers that had first round grades that could have gone higher than bringing in Brisker and Kyler Gordon. Here's the part that you do have to take into account, though. Just because something may not be fact, or just because something may not be what you want, doesn't mean that it's not fact. The Bears do have needs everywhere. Would I have liked to see the Bears go with an offensive skill position or an offensive lineman at that second first round pick? Yes, I've said that many a times. But it does not change the fact that the Bears have needs everywhere. It does not change the fact that there hasn't been enough on this team put in the last 3 years. Some things are fact and some things are what they want them to be. I wanted them to go with an offensive weapon with that second pick. I also can see the fact that is based in our secondary being god awful because I watched every game last season. He also goes into the point, any receiver the Bears selected in the second round would be a reach. I also agree with him on this point. George Pickens would not have been a reach. Sky Moore wouldn't have been a reach. Mechie wouldn't have been a reach in the second round. And you could have selected a receiver on day 3. He named some guys. I don't know about Melton, Romeo Dubes, Calvin Austin. I don't know about that one either. But I do agree that there were different receivers you could have went with. The Bears went with the guy that they felt was going to give them quick stability, right? And we're still talking about unproven rookies no matter what here. It's not like we're talking about, oh, this guy's a guarantee to be great. We're still talking about unproven rookies no matter what here. Here's another point he brought out that I thought was interesting. Nothing matters because this is just a rebuilding year. He says rebuilding years are not gap years after high school for smoking weed on the basement couch. Real rebuilding must be tactical and aggressive. Look at what the Giants are doing. Eating bad contracts on the front, adding top draft talent on the second, hedging their bets with Daniel Jones without throwing their chips out the window on the third. Poles and Eberflus weren't given 2 first-round picks to work with, but they were given Fields and a less than catastrophic situation. What they have done thus far, turned Khalil Mack into a rookie safety, slapped some Band-Aids on the offensive line, and purpose built the weakest offense in the NFL. Good thing they drafted a punter. A rebuild year is not a gap year. I do agree with him there. But again, here's the part that he's missing as we welcome in the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Stefan the Don into the building. Steph, what's good?
Yes, sir. What's good?
What's going on with you, man? Mike sounding crispy today. Shout out to you.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Somebody's got to be. So here's the other side of that. Here's my counter debate to that. What did the Giants do outside of the draft, which they had to hit on?
They hit.
They hit. I give them that. Day one anyway. They hit on day one, which is where you want to hit the most. That makes you feel like the Giants are all of a sudden skipping their rebuild.
What's good, Maurice?
You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about all these other teams. And like I said, it seems like it's the trendy thing to attack the Chicago Bears now. It seems like it's the thing that, they're not doing enough. They didn't get Justin Fields, a number 1 wide receiver. What does a number 1 wide receiver do to a quarterback that's on his back? Ryan Poles is addressing the biggest issue that the Chicago Bears have failed to address their entire time. He makes some good points in this article. I can't be mad. And it's a well thought out debate. I give Mike Tanner credit. Off of Football Outsiders. Like I said, I'll tweet out the article as well. It's a well thought out debate, and there's a lot more to go in there. But to say that the Bears have abandoned Justin Fields, to say that the Bears haven't done enough this offseason, tells me that you aren't taking into account anything that happened before Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus got here. You're not taking into account what Ryan Pace left. Ryan Pace left a cap situation that was in hell. Ryan Pace left a offensive line that was in shambles. And yeah, he left a disgruntled wide receiver room, and a wide receiver room that even when it wasn't disgruntled, just wasn't very good. Even with Allen Robinson there, it wasn't very good. Is Allen Robinson the shiny name that we could have got? Yes. But unfortunately, he did not help you win games. This is not about, do I like this guy? This is not about, do I feel good about this guy? This is about, do they help you win games? Nobody on that team last season helped you win games. And the biggest question, right, is did you see people in the offseason in free agency that you thought were going to help you win games? Yeah, you might bring in Terran Armstead. I think that's the only one I would say I would have gone after. But the money might not have matched up. He got the bag. You have no money. You have to fill out a 53-man roster with no money. What do you think, Steph, man? Like, you feel like they're...
You done? I was.
It's not. It seems very. My issue with it is, like, he's kind of thought out his argument. I'm not mad at it, but we're acting like these other teams have made these moves that all of a sudden put them in the perfect position to where now they're not, like he says, the rebuilding year is not a gap year. The Bears have the 6th easiest schedule in the NFL. This isn't going to be a gap year. This is going to be a development year. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. I can see more development out of Justin Fields if he's able to stand up and deliver the football than if he's running for his life trying to get it to his number 1 wide receiver. Do you feel like the Bears have done enough this offseason? 1, to protect, 1, in favor of Justin Fields, and 2, just in favor of the team moving forward?
I feel like I've been of the mindset from day one that I feel like they've done enough defensively that the defense is gonna surprise some people. I feel like I didn't think he was lying when he said Paul, slap some band-aids on the offensive line. Cause I feel like at minimum you guys, I'd say what they drafted for. I think maybe one of them will make the active roster game 1. In my opinion, but I mean, like you said, there's a lot of things that he's also not taking into consideration. Like like next year the Bears are gonna have mad money.
Yeah.
They got the 6th easiest schedule this year. So at minimum, looking at the roster with the schedule, this team should be able to go out and say like, yo, we may not like be able to compete for a title, but depending on how this year starts and finishes up with the pieces that we got, Muggs is gonna be able to come in this room and say, "Hey, I'm trying to get a Chicago Bears a shot." I feel like that's anything that you can ask for, because like okay, Darnell Mooney is the number 1. You don't really have a number 2. From everything that I'm seeing, and I hope Komet has a big year. Like these months, you're gonna say like, yeah, I'm at least trying to give Justin a chance.
Yeah,
like that, and that's all it is. That's all you can ask for.
Here's my question, right? What about Darnell Mooney means he's going to be this god awful number 1? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about Darnell Mooney? I mean, like, it seems like that's the biggest gripe with Bears fans. Darnell Mooney can't be a number 1.
But that first year though, he had the ability.
Well, here's my question. What about him? Like, maybe he's not a number 1 dominant receiver this season. That doesn't mean that he's going to be your number 1 for the next 10 years. That means right now, this season, you're going into your season with Darnell Mooney as your number 1 wide receiver option. Is Darnell Mooney a bad wide receiver?
No. I mean, I think at best, if he goes somewhere else, he's a solid number 2.
Where would we rank Darnell among receivers? I mean, his numbers are on par with a lot of the guys that we talk about, and that's with awful quarterback play most of his career, right? Like, put him around the where we ranking him? What wide receiver tier we ranking? The Juju range?
Yeah.
Is he better than Juju?
He ain't on TikTok, so that's a plus.
He's not dancing on TikTok, so you gotta love that.
He ain't dancing on TikTok. So
what wide receiver class would you put him in? Right? What I feel like we're not talking about him like we're talking about Darnell Mooney like he's the dregs of the NFL wide receiver. We're talking about Darnell Mooney like he's Byron Pringle. Not to say Byron Pringle's bad, but Byron Pringle's completely unproven.
I would say
there's nothing proven about him.
Tier 2, maybe.
That's where I would put him at. A tier 2 wide receiver.
Tier 2 wide receiver.
You know what tier 2 wide receiver means? If your number one goes down, that's the guy who has to be the number one.
Hey, I'll give you a perfect example. Robert Woods is a dog. He just got Cooper Kupp next to him. But if Cooper Kupp, when Cooper Kupp tore his ACL, the number one target was Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. It's about stepping in. It's about being able to make plays. It's about like Darnell Mooney can make plays. I'm not saying that here's the thing. My biggest problem with Darnell Mooney is his catch radius ain't that big. If Justin Fields throws it downfield and it's a 50-50 ball, Darnell's not going to be the greatest. He's not going to be able to go up and get everyone. He's probably under 50% on that, I would say, if it's a deep ball, 50-50 ball, and you got to put, you know what I'm saying? Like, but what about Darnell Mooney all of a sudden means he isn't a number one? What about having Darnell Mooney there? Like we talk, the national media and even some of the Chicago media talks about Darnell Mooney like he is literally Equinemius St. Brown.
Dog.
Like legitimate. The sad part is I'm naming other guys that are on our team, right? That's the worst part about it. But we talk about Darnell Mooney like Darnell Mooney can't play football. We talk about Darnell Mooney like Darnell Mooney wasn't the number one option last season. Allen Robinson was not your number one. Allen Robinson barely got the ball thrown to him.
He barely got the ball.
He had 30-something receptions. It's trendy to pile on the Bears. Are the Bears behind the Jets right now in development?
I like
close.
It's close. I gotta see. I have to see a game of them.
Yeah,
because the thing is they filled out a really nice roster. I think they're gonna be nice, but I gotta see them play because you got Zach Wilson. Who else? Garrett Wilson gonna be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Made some receiver changes. Got some running backs. But I mean, at this point, it's close because it's not like Zach Wilson last year was going out there like, oh my God, I'm the next Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, there were 2 weeks where we were like, hey, is Mike White the answer at quarterback for the Jets?
Hey. And he came in and dotted up 2 Thursday night games, and we was like, he's him, man.
Bro, like it's and that's what I mean. Like, I mean, honestly, you're a Giants fan. Are the Giants ahead of the Bears in rebuild?
Oh, no, because I'm gonna be honest with you. That rebuild don't start to me unless you fully getting rid of Saquon. You got to get rid of Saquon and Dan Jones if we finna start this rebuild. So I mean, he could sit there and say that the Giants are ahead, and on paper it looks like we are, right? I mean, that Mara.
Does it? I mean, listen, I'll say this. You had a heck of a draft, but you also had something the Bears didn't have.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I'm not, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, Daniel Jones, I mean, look, it's close in that regard, right? Like, you talk about Justin Fields staying off his butt. Daniel Jones can't hold on to the ball to save his life.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean that we got a really nice receiver room. We got some really nice backs, but I mean everything we got the 2 first-round picks, but everything got to come together when the players on the field. So it's just like it's a wait and see thing.
It's interesting. It's like there's so many teams that are still in this rebuild process that I could say are even behind the Bears by a lot. Like, I feel better about where the Bears are than the Miami Dolphins.
And
Miami has
the Miami Dolphins.
You got Tyreek Hill, you got
Terran Armstead.
Armstead.
They paid for a whole new offensive line.
Yeah, hey, you
the defense is still intact. So,
do you got a quarterback?
No. As of right now, I'm gonna say no.
Right?
I'm gonna say no.
I feel like at a minimum, and yes, I know Justin Fields is unproven, but when Justin was protected last season and Justin had time to make decisions, guess what? Justin looked like an NFL quarterback.
But I think the article is more so on some like and yeah, it's he made some valid points, but at the same time,
I love how he wrote it. I'm not gonna lie. I love how he defended. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he made some valid points, but at the same time, it's also kind of like we saw everybody else get their QBs help or get their team help in the areas that they needed, and you feel me? Justin is supposed to be the future, and I'm not seeing that. So this is what I'm gonna put on paper. Now again, very well thought out, but at the same time, like, is we really believing into it? Like Muggs was mad because Ryan Fitzpatrick had them 4-1, and then Buddy was like, "Nah, I'm gonna snatch this up out your hand, get the keys to the Lamborghini to Tua, and let's get this thing rolling." And they choked it. So it's. Yeah, I don't know where he was going with that, but he clearly didn't take everything else into account. He was just focused on the now, which that's the part that I kind of you trying to bash the team that ain't even got on the field, like.
And here's
the freaking Titans is in shambles, and they went to the playoffs.
And here's my question, right? Are we talking about this because of the recency bias of what the Bengals did? What other season would we say? Yeah, I think it's a miss, right, to not go offensive lineman early, but it's not like he's not going offensive lineman. You just signed one today. Now, granted, he's been on IR the last 2 days. I think that if we're gonna say turd nugget on anything, right, like some of these later signings of offensive lines, Sean Coleman was signed. He's essentially been on IR his last 2 years of his career. Hasn't really given much production. I guess when he's on the field, he's been decent, but it's more of a depth move to me. He probably won't even make the roster.
Yeah.
He's probably just a training camp move. But in any other year, we would say address the offensive line. We begged Ryan Pace to address the offensive line. Ryan Pace went out and drafted a guy with a bad back in the second round. And unfortunately for Ryan Poles coming into this situation, he has to evaluate whether that guy can play because he didn't play on the field last season. So he has to know, can Tevin Jenkins play football this year? Can Larry Borum play? I
think that this is a total we gonna see. Yeah, like, but my issue with the fact though is that, and I hate that we do this. It's kind of like, and it's not just us, it's like everybody. Like, Muggs look at the Bengals. bro, that's an anomaly. That
It's an
that
anomaly, and it's not
that
one
was
that
a complete anomaly,
it's
dog.
an anomaly, and it's not one that keeps your quarterback alive very long. He's already had
Cause look,
ACL
and
injury.
that's the thing. You knowing this anomaly, you know it's an anomaly off of the simple fact, right when the season was over, they did nothing else except go get all that. We straight up wide receiver, we straight up corner,
Yeah.
except Eli Apple. Get Eli Apple out of here.
Yeah.
You got your running back, everything else. We need 3 offensive linemen. And they got 3 top tier offensive linemen. Everything else was intact. You got your ends, you got your rushers, you got your linebackers. Everything else, they just went out and got offensive line. It was a straight anomaly. Nobody is going to the Super Bowl again like that. It's that
I wouldn't bet.
maybe again in like 50 some years,
I wouldn't bet on it.
maybe,
Offensive line,
but that's not happening again. Everything else was intact.
and I say this too. Like I'm an avid ESPN 1000 listener. I enjoy listening to them. I heard Sylvie say something yesterday. And he was talking about, I was listening to Waddle and Sylvie, and I heard him say something yesterday. He said, look at what they gave Jameis Winston. Look at what the Saints have done with Jameis Winston. New coach, new situation. Look at what they've done. He now has Michael Thomas, who doesn't want to be there and hasn't wanted to be there. I don't know if all of a sudden the leaving of his Hall of Fame head coach changes that. You have Alvin Kamara. You have now Chris Olave, who's added into there, and they just signed Jarvis Landry. You didn't replace Terron Armstead. Is Jameis under pressure is not a great quarterback. Jameis not under pressure is not a great quarterback. Is Jameis under pressure gonna be a great quarterback? You didn't replace a star left tackle that you didn't have enough money to pay for.
Bro, that's the thing. That's the thing. That man went out there for 2 games and threw up whatever. He was throwing up legit prayers that was coming back as touchdowns. And Muggs was like, yeah, that's it right there. Like, and you still got Taysom on the roster. I mean, I'm just looking at it like, yeah, they got the wide receiver room, and I mean they still got Ryan Ramczyk on one side, but the side that you need protection on is the side that Terron Armstead left that side. He's in Miami now, protected too. So, especially with the defenses that y'all gotta face, I don't see them hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a good Madden roster. It's a
Great
good Madden
Madden
roster.
It's a great
Good Madden roster.
He's
But
gonna be running for his life.
that team is probably only gonna win 5 games, 6 games at minimum. Like,
Yeah, probably.
I
I think their defense plays into that
at best
I
7.
think their defense plays into that as well.
Well, yeah. Oh no, they have an elite defense.
Yeah.
They have an elite defense.
Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us this morning, man. Appreciate everybody for showing love to the channel, man. If you in here right now, man, go ahead and do me a favor and
Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. When you're looking at what's left, because we've talked about the Bears, right? We've talked about where they are, where they could possibly be going, stuff like that. When you're looking at what's left in free agency for the Bears, is there a move that you want to see them make? Is there somebody left on the market that you want to see them go after? Is there somebody out there that you feel like the Bears have to throw money at that's left? Or is at this point, are we just talking about depth moves?
I mean, I, d- I really don't know because I'm with you. I'm thinking like more depth pieces because now like Odell's possibly linking up with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and then the rest of the people on the list. I mean, those are depth pieces.
I'll say this, right? Let's put it this way. Should the Bears be looking to go at wide receiver, at offensive line, or defense more, another running back? You know what I'm saying? Where should the Bears be looking to go this offseason with their picks, right? Like, or with their free agent pickups, right? Like, because at this point, right, you're getting to the end, you're talking about depth moves to me. You're talking about, hey, can this guy make this happen? And if he doesn't, or if he's hurt, or if he's not able to go, do we have a backup for him? Like, I think that's the only thing you're looking at now, right? Like, and it wasn't like there was this great free agent class that you were delving into this year. You know, we were talking about. I thought maybe a JC Treader. I know that he ended up getting cut from the Browns, I believe. But there's a reason these guys are getting cut, right? Like you're not talking about these guys as we're just hitting the free agent market. Most of these guys were cut now. Nate Herbig. Yeah,
I'll say this. So you got I'm pretty sure Odell's gonna sign with the Packers. I'm not gonna hold you. So you got James Bradbury left.
Odell to the Packers.
Hey, that's what I've been hearing. A-Rod said that they had on the Pat McAfee show. They said they've been trying to link up for a minute. So and he ain't signed nowhere else. I mean, the Rams wide receiver room is full already, so it makes the most sense.
Allen Robinson over there getting busy.
You got James Bradbury corner. I can see him as a second corner, and then you move that could be a third corner possibly. AB, but we know how you feel about AB.
Great talent, but are you gonna bring him in here on? I saw a tweet yesterday. AB said he just wants to retire a Steeler as well.
Yeah, I've seen that yesterday. So he might go back though. Yeah, Kenny Pickett gonna have weapons, bro. If he do though, I'm
I love that it's just not Mitch.
like Kenny Pickett gonna have weapons.
Kenny Pickett gonna be crazy out here. It's just no shot for Mitch in this mug, man. Hey, that's hilarious.
Jadeveon Clowney?
Is he still on the free agent market?
Yeah. Hey, this dude on the free agent market every year though. He be getting his bread and then he up out.
That's because he don't produce the same.
Hey, 15 M's. All right, we got
he never really lived up to what it was to what you thought he was gonna be.
I
thought he was gonna be a freaking. I thought he was gonna be a monster.
His first 3 seasons, and then after JJ got hurt, they was like, "Hey, let's double team this dude."
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and they just disappeared. Like I thought he was gonna be a monster. Even on other good defenses, he really didn't show a great, like, oh my God, this dude's a dominant defense, right? Like he was on the Browns for like what, 2 years? 3 years?
Yeah, a season.
He was only there a season?
A season,
I thought he was there 2 years.
Clowney, yeah, nah. He only played with them for a year.
Hey.
Hold on. They said he got
Hey, hold up.
He got 9 sacks.
Hey, I just looked at that.
Hey, 9 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 32 quarterback pressure.
Bro, I just looked at that. What was Davion doing on the dig? I literally was like, man, he must not have done nothing over there. I didn't even know he was there. He got 9 sacks. That's crazy.
Julio,
he had a 9 sack season. He's on the free agent market. He played 14 to 14 games last
Well,
year.
yeah, they come. I would assume they come pay him now. Cause they gave his bread to Denzel Ward. Well, some of his bread. I'm not gonna say all his bread, but
Mm.
Denzel Ward, Deshaun Watson.
Hey, it's crazy too, because he was cheeks the year before that. That man was in Tennessee doing absolutely nothing. He was what do we call that? Getting active. Nah, I just feel like, right, like Jadeveon Clowney's the difference maker. I'm not gonna lie to you on that. But like, is there somebody out there in the free agent market that you feel like is gonna be a difference maker for the Bears? And I'm not talking about for the long haul. I'm talking about for this season, right? Jarvis Landry's a move you make. Like, everybody was like, Bears should have got Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry's a move you make when you're ready. The Bears aren't ready. Jarvis Landry's the garnish on a team. What's buddy that's in Cleveland now? From Dallas.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's a move you make when you're ready. The Bears aren't ready. I like that Ryan Poles understands what keeps quarterbacks successful.
Julio's
a good this season move.
Hey, I mean,
a good this season move.
At this point, I'm just looking at it like you got nothing to lose.
Is this the perfect season? This is what I said in my video yesterday. And if y'all haven't checked it out, check out the latest daily drop. We dropped a video essentially talking about can the Bears take advantage of their sixth easiest schedule in the NFL. This is the perfect season for development. This is legitimately the perfect season for development. I'll tell you why. Let me pull up the Bears schedule here. Right? Chicago Bears schedule 2022. In week 1, we play the San Francisco 49ers. In week 2, we play the Green Bay Packers. From week 2 until week 16, you really don't play a team that's going to destroy you, minus maybe the Packers again. And I'm not saying that the Bears are going to win 12 games, but this is a year for development. You play a great defense week 1. You play an okay defense with what the Packers have week 2. From week 3 to week
not an okay defense. I can't say so. I can't say the Packers is an okay defense. That was a
they
lead.
turned it on in the second half of the season.
I mean, and then you add the pieces though.
Hey,
and then everybody that's hurt is coming back. That's a plus.
That's the thing. So did the Bengals defense, but like, the Bears beat them. Yeah, I mean, like, is that defense going to – even the Bengals was like, hey, we're going to add some pieces, though.
I mean –
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, man, I don't know how we did it either. We're going to add some pieces, though. So, I think the Packers' defense is better than the Bengals, though. So, I give you that. The Packers' defense is a good defense. But from week 3 to week 15, Texans, Giants, Vikings, Commanders – Patriots, Cowboys.
The Commanders' defense is good, but
which
Carson you getting?
Not even that. Like, which defense are you getting? There were points in last season where that Commanders' defense was god awful.
Taylor,
names are great. The names are great.
I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that because they don't need, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this. Mugs with good teams with good defenses don't need to score 24 a game. If they score 24 a game, that's a plus.
Wrong. That is where people are wrong. The best defense in the NFL gave up 40-plus points multiple times in the playoffs last season.
Hey, I'm just saying that, right? They got everything they need on defense. They ain't had a quarterback to manage the game in years. since they got that defense, and it's year 3.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is your offense still has to put up numbers for your like we talk about it like defenses are just weak. Like it was historic what the Bears were doing in 2018. It was historic. There's not teams that are doing that anymore. We're not holding teams to 17 points a game on a consistent basis anymore. The best defense in the NFL gave up 25 plus points in the playoffs multiple times last season. That's
at minimum, all they gotta do is score 23 a game. But it just depends on which Carson is gonna show up.
I agree with that, right? I agree with you. You've got to score, but you have to be able to score 23, 24 plus a game. Like,
I mean, they have the ability to do that.
Are the Commanders going to be holding? Even so, are the Commanders holding teams to 17 points a game? Their defense ain't that good. It's hit or miss. It's spotty. It was spotty last season. There were points in the season we were watching the Commanders. We were like, this team's god awful.
If I'm on the floor for the amount of if I'm on the field for the amount of time they're on the field too, though, like,
are they going to be on the field less this season?
Look. The Commanders defense is good. I want Carson to be good, so I know what that because I know what that defense can do. I know what that D line can do. So it's just like, and we all know who benefits from a good D line, like the safeties, corners. So I mean, it just depends. Like I said, it depends on what Carson show up, and they have the weapons to go and then put up 23 a game. Are they gonna do that though? That's to be seen.
But I mean, even with that, right? Patriots, Cowboys, Dolphins, Lions, Falcons, Jets.
Patriots defense gonna be ready. Matt gonna take a step.
You're still talking about 2-3 games, my boy.
Hold on, I gotta.
You're still talking about 2-3 games. And I'm not saying the Bears are going to win 12 games, but what I'm saying is this schedule allows room for development. This schedule allows room for Justin Fields to play against a lot of defenses that he should be able to get a footing against, as long as he can stand up and throw the ball. If he can't stand up and throw the ball, then guess what? He's not going to be able to do that. So everybody, I keep saying, right, like these writers are coming in and they're talking about all of these different things that are the reason the Bears will lose, or the reason that they haven't shown faith in Justin Fields, or they're the reason why Justin Fields is going to fail. What's the reason that we believe that only for the Bears?
I see 7 dubs on this team.
I got 8. I only have the Bears winning 8 this year. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win 12, but I'm also looking at this and I'm saying this schedule isn't insurmountable.
But at the same time, looking at these defenses though.
Which one?
I'm gonna say this. Looking at these defenses though, outside of, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. Outside of,
you got the Bills week 15.
Yeah, but up until that point, I mean, if you looking at, outside of the 49ers, maybe the Packers, Justin Fields can dot these mugs up.
And here's the thing. You're also thinking, right, like the Bears aren't going to play this like they played last season. I keep telling people, don't expect this to go down like it did last season. Matt Eberflus is not dumb enough, it doesn't seem, based on how he's building the team, to put the ball in the air 40 times. There's 2 running backs on this team and a fullback that seems like they're going to get a heck of a lot of use.
I would say
The
how
Giants' run
we feeling
defense was
about
horrible. The Vikings' run defense was horrible. The Commanders' run defense was middling. The Cowboys' run defense was awful towards the end of the season. They gave up the third most yards, rushing 140 plus yards a game, rushing by the end of the season. The Dolphins' rush defense was actually pretty good. Lions' rush defense was horrible. Falcons' rush defense was one of the worst in the NFL. Jets' rush defense was horrible. Packers' rush defense was middling.
yeah, and that's the other thing. Dan Campbell, you know why y'all don't got a primetime game.
Yeah, come on.
You know why y'all don't got a prime.
I will say no Thanksgiving game was surprising. They normally get the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they know, but
They
come
get the
on.
Thanksgiving game almost
This how
every
the
year.
But this how the Thanksgiving Day game go though,
Did they not get it this year? I knew they didn't get a prime time, but are they counting that as prime time?
bro. Like the game go, they gonna play either the Cowboys or the Bears.
That's
Stumped out by
surprising. Yeah, 24th. That's surprising.
stumped
No,
out
that is
by half,
surprising. Lions always get it.
stumped out by halftime.
Oh yeah, they'll get destroyed.
Big Sean come out and perform. It's dead.
Yeah, they'll get destroyed for sure.
And yo, and then like we do this every year. Like at some point,
Legitimately, they get stomped out on Thanksgiving every year, but I thought that was the national pastime. I thought that was the national pastime. I thought stomping out the Lions on Thanksgiving was exactly what it is. No, because what is hold on, what is maybe they do got it. No, that's Bills Lions. No, they don't. Right? Because the Thanksgiving is what? I don't know what Thanksgiving is. I forget every year. Let me see here. Oh no, they do got it. They got it. It's on the 24th. They play the Bills. They play the Bills. I thought that was the Sunday before. No, they play the Bills.
And it's about to be a home game.
Hey, that's but there's the thing. That's a national game.
Ain't nobody watching how I get stomped out. That's the like.
Hey, y'all definitely finna get stomped out. It's finna get ugly. Bills versus Lions. That's finna get ugly.
That's a Damn, bro, I be feeling bad for Big Sean when he gotta go up there and perform, dog.
Hey, and Big Sean be performing in front of all these white people that do not know who he is. They be, oh boy, we've got a rapper in the building.
This guy again?
Oh man, that's funny. No, I mean, listen, I feel like this schedule for the Bears is very winnable. Am I going to say that the Bears have done everything that I want them to do this offseason? No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that the Bears have. I would have wanted the Bears to go out and get Teron Armstead. I wanted the Bears to go out and get a free draft, a lineman at that second first round position. But I also can't look at this Bears team and say, oh my God, I can't believe that the Bears are doing this again. I can't believe that the Bears aren't trying to build an offensive line.
Right.
When they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, shout out to Rex in the comments. He says, as a non-fan, I just wish your organization had helped your young QB more, but I'm not a GM, so who knows? Shout out to Rex. Shout out to P Kid in the comments as well. Levante over there. I see y'all in this mug, man. The shy in this mug. Shout out to y'all, man. I think he's doing the best thing you can. You have to find answers on this line. Every single year. When is the last year? Let me look at the drafts. Let me look. Let's do a little exercise here. Ringo probably could do it off the top of the dome. 2021 wide receivers that came out.
2021
of the draft.
Jamar
Chase, yeah.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
Let's see, that might be a little tough. I did just throw that mug out there.
Yeah, then you put me on the spot. Dang,
I thought you had it, my boy. I tried to get you. Let's see, wide receiver. Jamar Chase, of course. Jalen Waddle. Devontae Smith.
Oh yeah, I'm man.
Hey, your boy Kadarius Toney. He's pretty good, ain't he? He can play a little bit. Rashad Bateman.
he
I'm deep in the draft now. I'm at 33. Let's see. Rondale Moore out in Arizona. Can he play? He can play a little bit.
Rondell Moore, yeah, he can play.
Rondale. No, I know it's Rondale. I like how you spell his name. It's Rondale. I always do that. Rondale Moore. He got drafted at 49.
We trying to get y'all paid, bro.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm trying to get y'all paid, bro. Let's see. Wide receivers. Like my point is, you can find wide receivers in the draft, and we have a first round pick next season. I can't remember the last draft that didn't have pretty good wide receivers in it. I can remember a lot of drafts where the wide receivers we picked weren't good.
Yeah, y'all
You know what I'm saying? But like I can't remember a lot of drafts where you weren't able to find a wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb was 2 years ago. Justin Jefferson was 2 years ago. T. Higgins was 2 years ago. Michael Pittman was 2 years ago. These are in the second round. And the Bears have all their draft capital next season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about finding a wide receiver. What I'm worried about is finding somebody who's going to keep my quarterback upright. And whether you call a development year, or whether you're saying that a development year isn't a gap year, it's not a year where you just throw the season.
Bears got the 8th pick.
I agree. We got the 18th pick this season. Or no, Bears have the. Well, it depends on where we lose. You talk about the 2023.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now. I say y'all got 8.
Yeah, we sucked last year, and it's probably also basing it on where we'll be, or where they think we'll be right now. Right now, if we go out and win 10, 11 games, we won't have the 8th pick. But even with that, right, like there's so much more than just like you can find wide receivers. I legitimately, I'm going through the drafts right now. I
know you're not going to his, but look, I already found Montgomery replacement.
I found him last year. He's on the team
from Texas.
Hey, we don't need him.
Brian Robinson.
Ryan Poles drafted his replacement this year. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But here's the problem, right? Go back to every single Chicago Bears quarterback that we ever thought was going to have talent. Jay Cutler had weapons. Mitch Trubisky had weapons. They didn't have a line. Ryan Poles understands what the issue is. For the first time, there's a GM in the building that understands what the issue is. We've been yelling about the issue for 15 years. We haven't had a line since Olin Kreutz was playing football, and now he's punching people at you know what I'm saying? At the job. You know what I mean?
Stuffing them in lockers. Hey, bro.
He's stuffing them in lockers at the job. You know what I mean?
Put about it unless you're ready to pull up. What's up, my boy?
What you mean by that Mitch had targets? Mitch ain't had no targets.
Mitch didn't have no targets.
He not going to have no targets this year either.
He had Javon Williams. Air it out.
Mitch had Allen Robinson when they actually were using him.
Then all of a sudden, Justin Fields gets in and doesn't throw to him at all.
I'm gonna tell you like this.
You know what I mean? Like,
I forgot.
Like Mitch definitely had targets. Hey, Mitch had targets to the point his targets was looking at him like, "Come on, my boy."
No, dog.
Just get me the ball.
Hey, Allen Robinson looked just as weak with Justin as he did with Mitch. Come on now.
No, what are you talking about?
Allen Robinson ain't getting no touches. What are we talking about?
Allen Robinson had a 1,000-yard season with Mitch Trubisky.
How many yards did he get with Justin?
He didn't break 400. Oh, he did break 400, but he only literally got 33 receptions.
You know, I ain't for the Trubisky slander.
No, it's not slander.
So specifically for that.
No, it's not.
Nah, just
It's
messing
not
with you.
slander. It's literally just
Hey, dog, I'm joking. I don't care.
they didn't protect him. Listen, I don't
By
think
the
he
way,
can,
you
I don't think he
actually
can play.
said Rondale Moore because you thought it was Rondale Moore. You tried
No,
to figure it
no,
up.
no.
No,
I always say that.
bro.
No,
He said Rondale
Nah, he do.
Moore.
He
No.
do it on it. He do it.
I always say
He
that
do it
because
on
it's
the. He do it on the game.
because it's Rondale Moore, but it's Dale. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Rondale spelled like that. I called him Ron. I think I drafted him. Was he a rookie this year or last year?
Last year.
I think I picked him up in fantasy at some point during the season. I was like, who the heck is Rondale Moore? Somebody was like, that boy name is Rondale. And I was like, that's a rough way to spell that mud.
Man was getting it for a minute, then all of a sudden, I don't know what Kyler Murray was tweaking on, but
Hey, Christian Kirk came back, and it was
Christian
that.
Kirk came back, and that was the end of it. Rondale, Christian. What's good with you, my boy? We ain't seen you in a minute, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm all right. How about you? Look like you up and at 'em.
Hey, man, back alive. You know, that's all. That's the goal at this point.
I hear that.
Staying alive is the goal at this point. Nah, man. I mean, before we switch topics, I mean, shoot, you here? Might as well get you. Do you feel like the Bears have done enough this offseason for Justin Fields and for the team as a whole?
I'll be honest with you. The simple answer is we don't know. We don't know what half of these pieces are going to do.
Yeah.
We don't know what the system is going to look like. Everything is just a guess at this point. Now, what I will say is, you know, I don't want to ever confuse movement with progress. You can't do that. I know that's a famous quote going around from Denzel. We don't want to do that. But unfortunately, we have never had this amount of movement as far as organizationally and stuff like that we have to be better, don't we? Like it has to be better.
Hey,
The Bears.
He said don't be like half confident and just have. Please tell me we're better.
The Bears are 2 games better just by Matt Nagy not being in the building. Legitimately, I'm giving you 2 wins based on the fact that almost every team you play on your schedule, minus like the top defenses, minus the Niners, Packers, and Bills, is a horrible run defense. And I'm pretty sure that if you brought in a fullback and a bunch of offensive linemen, you're going to say, get a ball to David.
That's my type of team right there.
It's funny that this is the situation we're in. This is our 4-year span. Coach of the year, executive of the year, Pro Bowl QB. Laughing to, okay, what the heck is happening in 2019? 2020, what is really going on here?
Do you realize a spy broke Matt Nagy's offense? The only thing that broke Matt Nagy's offense was putting a spy on Mitch.
That was it.
They said, we're going to make Mitch play quarterback. And everybody was, hey, yeah, you can't forget the MVP in that game we lost over on Nickelodeon.
Oh, no, that was a horrible game.
Hey, Mitch still won the MVP because Muggs felt bad for him.
You know what? The league really feels like he can go. The league feels like he can go because he's going to get another opportunity.
Muggs feel bad. Now, all them same Muggs, all the Ryan Clarks and all the Muggs, watch how quick they turn on him.
Hey.
Especially,
it's not going to be in Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna tell you this. Ryan Clark will turn on him first.
I believe that
because he's playing quarterback for his former team.
He's not starting.
Ryan Clark will be the first one. Hey, if he loses to Kenny Pickett, that's
first off.
He got to start, bro. If he loses to Kenny Pickett, he's in trouble.
He's not.
I'm telling you right now, they feel bad because all this stuff came out about Nagy, that he wasn't listening to him, he wasn't working with him, he wasn't doing this, doing that. So they had to try and do an about face to feel good for Mitch. And we're behind you. Ryan Clark will be the first person to turn on.
I give it. Matter of fact, nah. You know what?
I give it 3 games. I give it 3 games.
You generous. I give it 3. I give it 3.
And it's not even to say Mitch will be playing bad. But if Mitch isn't playing, it's different when it's on your team. If Mitch isn't playing like an elite quarterback, he will say, put in Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what the funny thing is? No one's ever going to really say it, but there's clear evidence there for Mitch. But you know who had all the opportunity in the world, and no one's ever mentioned it? And I'm not trying to switch topics, but this just goes to show you the state of the division we're in. No one's really harping on Jordan Love not being ready. Like, Jordan Love not being ready is a big freaking deal. Trey Young, Trey Lance, not like they're going with Trey Lance, but they ain't got really Garoppolo for a reason. They say Trey Lance is not ready. No one's going to mention these things.
Yeah, I think Garoppolo's starting against us week 1. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I will give you Trey Lance, but Jordan played the game.
Yeah, Jordan Love
played the game. We don't know.
Jordan Love. No, Jordan played a couple of games and he looked
okay too. Come on, dog. Like, what is we really doing? 1.5. It was 1.5 actually.
Here's the thing. The funny thing is, it's not fans saying it. These are like, because we don't get to see it. They're just saying that he's not developed at all.
It's the Packers saying.
Like, for we have to really look at, there's going to be a couple people within this league who are just not in the right situation. I believe Mitch was one of them. I think Jordan Love got drafted in the worst position ever. Like, why would you want to come behind Aaron freaking Rodgers, who just won? Didn't he win 2 MVPs since he's been drafted?
2 MVPs.
That man won 2 MVPs. He ain't coaching that man up. He's trying to prove a point. Nah, dog. I literally would be like, that's the worst situation to be in.
I feel like you got to be a certain level of quarterback to say that too. Like, seeing Ryan Tannehill say that, I was like, bro, he gonna take your job. Like, you need to work with him.
No, I actually appreciate Ryan Tannehill.
I'm just loosening up my arm.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. That man, like, there's a certain, like, Aaron Rodgers know for a fact. Like, Brett Favre knew he could keep Aaron Rodgers at bay until he was done playing because his name was Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers know any quarterback that come behind him, he can keep him at bay because his name is Aaron Rodgers. Hey, listen, dog. Ryan, you ain't got that kind of cash.
I gotta side with Ryan. I gotta side with Ryan because at the end of the day, Ryan is still fighting for his position. It's not his job to develop that kid. His explanation was spot on. We're in the same coaching room. We're in the same QB room. We're reading the same plays. We're running the same drills. Like, we're doing the same stuff. If he picks something up, great. But it's not my job to mentor him and stuff like that. No, and that's not his job. His job is not to sit there and bring that kid under his wing. His job is to fight for his career. And I hope he does. I really do hope he does.
I always wonder if Muggs.
Bro, he talking too spicy for me. He wouldn't have been in this position if he didn't do what he did in that game.
That's cool, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve it. The ability to fight for his job.
I'm all for you. This is my thing. I'm all for you fighting for your job. I feel
but don't talk like you got it like that.
No, not even that. I feel like you're trying to set the tone of like, hey, if you take my job, you take my job. But like, I'm not like if it feels like you sitting there like I don't really rock with you because you're here to take my job, which I get, but like I don't know. Like, how did you get to that point? Like, was somebody mentor you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
how many people really do that nowadays though? Like, come on, like some of our favorite athletes, they didn't mentor nobody until they were already established, already solidified, and about to retire.
That's true.
Jordan ain't mentor nobody. I don't care what you say. Jordan ain't mentor a goddamn person. Jordan sat there and said, "You in this room with me, we working."
I mean, on his team, maybe not.
That was it. No, Jordan didn't. Jordan paid his trainer not to work out other people.
I mean, yeah, but he definitely mentored. Well, that's just an exclusive fee, my boy. Hey, that's just an exclusive fee right there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you come with that many M's. I ain't training nobody else either. I don't have to. I'm doing 2 hours of work a day. But nah, I don't know, man. I saw that and I was like, nah, Ryan, like you're not good enough to be a D-bag. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, you threw multiple picks in that last playoff game, bro. Like, you were throwing to the other team like you were playing for them. Hey, man, we gonna keep it pushing. Shout out to y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. Appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all haven't done so, man,
Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. We also talk national sports on this channel, man. We're going to get into a little bit of the national sports topics on this one, man. As we're coming into the second hour of the show, let's do a little ECF game one preview. Yeah, I mean, we got Miami in the building over here. We might as well talk about how he's gonna get cooked tonight. I'm just saying. Listen. Boys, how do you guys feel? You got Celtics, you've got Miami coming in tonight. No Kyle Lowry is the latest that I saw. I mean, at this point, it's a back injury. If Kyle Lowry was good to go, I don't think he would actually be good to go. And Robert Williams, as it seems, is a go, which means Bam is going to have a little bit of work to do tonight.
Marcus Smart might not play.
Marcus Smart is out. Marcus Smart is out, last I had heard as well.
Oh, snap. Hey.
Let me double check.
Okay.
Let me double check. I thought that I had saw that.
Boy, you about to get cooked. Don't get excited.
I saw that on.
Jimmy Butler can't stick everything.
Y'all do realize every time y'all say this, I wind up being right?
Marcus Smart is out for the first game tonight. So,
hey,
how do you feel?
Hey, he better be a Little Caesar's piece. He better be hot and ready right now. If he's not hot, boy, I'm telling you right now, if he not coming off that bench smoking, y'all get cooked. Y'all getting cooked.
Hey, remember when we were supposed to get smoked by John Collins?
I never
because Capella was out and we were still getting smoked.
It's just questionable right now. It's just questionable for Marcus Smart, but probably leaning.
I didn't have you getting cooked by Atlanta.
No, that was me.
I had you getting cooked by
Atlanta. Him and Brand was on my heels.
Hey, you know why? Because the one game John Collins played like John Collins, y'all got cooked.
I was like, off of a game-winning layup.
Hey, and y'all could all of a sudden y'all couldn't stop him. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden it was
I gotta hold my ear. I had Philly cooking you, and that didn't work out.
So, well,
I told y'all James wasn't like that.
Hey, stop.
Tobias Harris over me.
No, James not being like that. I knew that was coming, but stop playing. You saw Embiid started cooking y'all all till he got that bow to the face. Y'all had to make sure that he went out again. Come on, dog.
Rare for him.
Embiid was bringing y'all out.
If you really want to talk about it, Joel Embiid hurt them himself. He flopped and got his man hurt.
Well, yeah, that was
speaking of Tobias Harris.
Danny Green was killing us.
Danny Green is out.
Danny Green was killing us. He flopped and got his man hurt.
Speaking of Tobias Harris, though, I would love to see him in a Bulls jersey. To be honest with you, I think he adds an element that we're missing.
Wouldn't be mad at Tobias.
Defense, shooting. I mean, hey, we're not. Everyone looks at the full contract. Like, how much they paying him? He getting 150 of this, that, and that. We'd only be picking up 80 mil. I'd pick him up for 80.
Here we go.
I think he's making close to 30 over these next. He making 32 million, my boy.
So that means he gets paid 7 mil more than Vooch. I'd take that bet.
You want him as the third option instead of Vooch?
I don't know where exactly I would want him. I would just say for what he brings a lot of what we don't have.
I feel like they don't use. I like Tobias Harris. I just feel like they don't use that man.
He brings defense.
He ain't no Jimmy
Butler. He's not an elite defender. He's a serviceable defender.
Tobias Harris over me.
He's a serviceable defender, and he brings scoring. He may not be Jimmy. First of all, Jimmy needs to stop it because he was cooking James Harden.
Time out.
He wasn't cooking Tobias Harris.
I can't let you do that. I can't let you do that.
I give Jimmy his props.
Jimmy been hooping. We no.
Jimmy hasn't went nowhere and not made the playoffs.
This whole playoffs, your favorite player. He been cooking. He
ain't been cooking my favorite player. You better stop it. You better stop it. You better stop it.
You know Kyrie Irving don't like James Harden.
26 and 8 on 54% shooting. 26 and 8 on 54% shooting. We not I'm not gonna let y'all do that.
I get Jimmy his flowers, man. Jimmy, I'll tell you this. Jimmy, the biggest thing for me with Zach LaVine is how Muggs didn't want to pick up Jimmy Butler and seeing what he's become. People look at what is he right now and they think that's the player. And I'm like, listen, it's about what the player can become. That's why you paying these mugs. You didn't pay Derrick Rose $80 million because of what he was right now. You liked what he was right now, but you thought you were getting a bargain 5 years down the line. You thought you were going to be paying Derrick Rose $20 million at a time where he could be making 150. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I give Jimmy his credit, man. He turned himself into a heck of a player. What are y'all thoughts on tonight's game, man? How do you feel like this game one is gonna go?
Oh, I got Boston by 10.
Yeah, I think that if Marcus Smart can't go, I think that's a big dub. I think that's a big dub for us in this game, especially because we need it. It's something that you said yesterday. I mean, when you're right, you're right. I mean, we got home court advantage. So every game that we play here, if we take game one, I think that's big for us, especially going back to Boston in that hostile environment. So if Marcus Smart can't go, and then if Robert Williams is about 60%, I think we can pull out this dub.
It's gonna be tough to me. I will say this: I think Marcus Smart makes a difference for sure, but who was he gonna be guarding that you felt like he needed to lock down?
Who? Marcus Smart?
Like, who is Marcus Smart going to be playing on? Like, Jimmy's getting guarded probably by Jaylen Brown. You're probably putting Jason Tatum on Tyler because he's got the speed to keep up with him and the length to.
Well, that's not going to be to start the game. That's off the bench.
And the funny thing is,
but that's who I'm worried about for y'all. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. The player that most scares me is Jimmy Butler, and the first dude off the bench.
Hey, I'm
time out though.
Right now.
Time out though, because I gotta give it to Kid. Kid was absolutely right. When Vic shows up,
yeah, Vic is nice.
When Vic shows up,
Vic is
we win them games.
Victor Oladipo is definitely nice.
Like he was right about it. I gotta get that to you, my boy.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, he definitely. I wish y'all had ramped him up so he didn't just start the playoffs looking god awful. Because at the beginning of that, boy, we was
he got 22 the first game. What do you mean?
Ringo was ready to what was that, the first series? You was ready to absolutely trade that man away. You was like, hey, if y'all
that was like because he played 8 games and he didn't do nothing until that last game when he dropped 40. I was ready to get rid of him.
In Atlanta, he played 2 games in Atlanta series. First game, he was 3 of 10, 6 points, had 8 rebounds though, 4 assists. That's what I look at. I look at, like, if you're not shooting well, what else are you doing on the floor? Then the second game, he dropped 23. Hey, Victor Oladipo is still
this season in the playoffs, he's averaging 11.4, 3.8 rebounds per game, 2.4 assists. Not bad. He's a plus 14 for those people that believe in plus minus like that. I'm not saying his contribution isn't needed, isn't something that Miami thrives off of, but is it something that you're going to get night in and night out? And is it something that you're going to get let's be real. When we talk about Boston defenders, it's not like it stops at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They got a lot of guys that can play defense on that team. Yeah.
Hey, Pat, what's my philosophy?
Which one? You got a lot. I can go.
Let me help you out, my boy. I'm going to let Jimmy cook. I'm going to make Jimmy shoot. I'm going to make Jimmy
shoot.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to let Jimmy. Hey, if he want to sit there and be dream, well, what was that girl? Cadillac, whatever it was. If he want to be dream girls, whatever he want to, guess what? I'm going to let him run the show. I'm going to let him go off. He going to look like Giannis out there. I'm shutting everybody else down because guess what? Jimmy is not the guy that's going to carry you that much that way. His game is not that polished. He can't do it. Jimmy is a step below elite on the scoring tip.
Is it because he can't? This is the thing. With Jimmy, I feel like it's not because he can't do it. I feel like it's because he chooses when to do it.
He don't want to.
Guess what? This playoffs, I'm going to intentionally shut everyone else down. How do you think? On the flip side, how do you think the Mavericks blew out the Suns? I'm going to
Because
put a big body on Chris
team
Paul.
Devin Booker and then put Dorian Finney-Smith on Chris Paul.
I'm gonna run a big body at Chris. I'm gonna run a double at Book. All you other people, I'm gonna see what you do.
Hey man,
And guess what? 40 piece.
I get you.
40 piece.
It's a tough take after that Philly series though. he averaged 30 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, and 6 assists.
Yeah, against the team that don't defend well.
I agree with that. I think that there's a big difference in Boston and Philly.
Boston is the number one defending team. Well, second, top 5. They're top 5.
Hey, I told him you're gonna see a 99-95 game.
Nah,
I agree with that. I think
these games finna be mad low scoring.
I'm gonna say this.
Now I think
Miami's got
that
enough
in Boston, you're not gonna see that.
Oh no.
But I will say, here's the one thing that I will say, right? How Boston has played defense in this playoffs, like they still play defense the same way they did versus KD and them, versus Giannis and them. They just couldn't do it to Giannis. Like it was hilarious to see. Like we gonna bully Giannis.
44, 20, and 5 on their dome.
Hey, it was like watching Jazz get thrown out of the house on the Fresh Prince repeatedly. We gonna bully Giannis. But
we gotta have a moment for that too.
I'll say
hey, no, seriously, Giannis put on a Wilt-like performance, a prime Shaq performance, even in a loss, 20-20. Dog, 20-20, and I think he had 6 or 7 assists.
He was about to have a triple double, bro.
Have a triple double, and I think the points he had in Game 7 was the lowest point total he had all series.
Yeah,
I could be a little mistaken on it. I could be off a little bit, but it's a 20-20 game.
No, I think they said he was the first person to have 200 points, 150 rebounds, and 50 assists or something like that.
That's astronomical. Like that, like we not really understanding. Like that man did something that we probably won't see for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
you got to salute that man. He was one player away.
I keep telling Muzz, bro. Muzz don't want to believe it. I don't know why. That's the best player in the NBA. That's the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, I got to give it to him.
That is the best player in the NBA.
Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now.
Like it's not even like, and you know why? It's because he's added the jump shot. It's because he's added the bro. Remember, my favorite thing about Giannis is that James Harden said anybody can dunk on somebody when you that big. Giannis' Euro game is disgusting. Giannis' finesse around the rim is disgusting. Giannis has added the mid-range, which is actually a high percentage shot for him now. The three-point shot is still a work in progress, but if he ever gets that, it's ridiculous.
25%. But
yeah, this the thing about that, though. This the thing.
He hit it when he needs to.
It be at the right time, though.
I was about to say that. Like, hey, Stan Van Gundy was killing me. I don't know why he shoots that. I don't know why he shoots that. He shouldn't shoot that. Oh yeah, bang, bang. You gonna let me step into this again? Bang.
Hey, Levante said the best player in the NBA is not in the playoffs no more. You absolutely right. He's still the best player in the NBA.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I got Luka.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. The dude that might be the second best player in the NBA is definitely still in the playoffs right now. That's the kind of respect we need to be putting on Luka Doncic's name at this point.
I got Luka. I'm sorry, bro.
Hey, you know what's going to change the game for Luka? And we're going to get back to this topic. This is what happened when kids show up. It's just chaos. We just start rambling. You know what?
I just like starting fires.
And logging the heck off.
Hey, you know what the best part about Luka is that if he ever has that off season where he says, hey, I'm not going to eat pizza and drink wine this off season. I'm going to work with my trainer. He's probably going to be the best player in the NBA. We're just going to be watching this mother like, is he averaging 35 points a game with 14 assists and 11 rebounds? Like, is he putting up Jokic numbers right now?
I don't think, from an individual standpoint, what he does is crazy. He's hard to defend. He plays the point, which, as the point, you normally have to put another point on him. So he's a matchup nightmare. But is he the best player in the league? If I need a defensive stop, Luka's not on my list. If I need,
I know, yeah. If you need it,
you know
nah.
what I'm saying? So when I look at the best player, I look at somebody who's not only an offensive threat, but if I need to get a stop, like he can play both ends of the floor and he impacts the game in so many different ways. No one is doing it like Giannis is doing it right now. KD would be second to me because KD's defensive game is underrated, but KD don't have size. I can't knock him for it. I mean, I can't force feed the man, right?
Yeah.
But like outside of that, Luke is a top 5 player to me. Like I think he's top 5. I think he's definitely better than Devin Booker to me.
I think he's 3. He's 3.
I got him at 4.
Over.
Is Bron 5 now?
Bron's not top 5 for me. Bron's not top 5 for me. I got Giannis. I mean, think about it. Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, Luka.
I still got Bron over Embiid.
And KD.
I forgot about Embiid.
I still got Bron over Embiid. Like we actually.
No, but I still got Bron.
Listen,
I can't go.
He
lost a top 10 player.
He lost a lot this season, and you can't. It definitely hurts how things look for him. But like, I also can't overlook the fact that like
30.
He was putting up ridiculous numbers all season.
Yeah, absolutely.
There were moments in the season where he was begging somebody else to play. Like, hey, now granted, like Russ can't play because he's playing with you, but I don't know.
You said Joker's overrated. Joker splits are ridiculous, dog.
Yeah,
Joker is can give you 20 and 20 and 10. Like,
that's the crazy part about the NBA right now.
It's so much talent.
There's so much talent, bro. Like you could like my top 5 list could be different from your top 5 list, and neither list could be wrong depending on how you look.
You gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. And how long have we been saying Luka puts up LeBron numbers? It's been putting up LeBron numbers since he got in the league.
Fam, Luka right now is putting up Jordan numbers, and nobody talking about it.
Bro, this man LeBron had 38 and 6.
Luka, since his sophomore season, has been averaging 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists since his sophomore year. He's been averaging LeBron's career averages since his sophomore year. That was in 2019, by the way.
And he continues to get better. Luka in the playoffs right now is averaging 31, 10, and 6.
Season averages 28.4, 30 on 45% shooting, 9 rebounds, 8.7 assists. We're gonna give him the 9 assists, and we're gonna give him 1 block, 1 steal, and we're gonna give him 1 block.
Yeah, I told Pat this yesterday. I said this man has the highest point per game average in the playoffs, next to Mike, and he only 23. He only 23, bro.
You know what the biggest question
he rated this game in the playoffs, bro. That's like the dumb thing. Like,
are international players better than domestic than stateside players now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Giannis is international, Embiid is international, Luka's international. Yeah, like it's not crazy to say.
Work ethic. Their work ethic is ridiculous.
Y'all will pick Luka over Tatum? Absolutely.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's a lot of people I pick over Jason Tatum. No, Jason Tatum is cooking. Here's the interesting thing, right? As you look at tonight, would we call Jason Tatum a superstar? Budding superstar, maybe, but would we say that he's a superstar yet?
Hey, time out real quick.
Budding
Luka
superstar.
averaged 41 in Game 7. I just have to let that go.
That goes all the way though. That goes like his Europe stats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which still valid. Like he averages 41 a game. Like he show up to it. But what we call him a super. So here's the reason I bring that up, right? Is because in the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, we're watching an Eastern Conference Finals probably for the first time.
Bro, we almost got 730 3-pointers.
In 10 years, in 15 years, we're watching the Eastern Conference Finals tonight without a superstar in it. In the West, you've got mad superstars in it. But we're watching it. I mean, you're talking about Eastern Conference Finals that have had LeBron in it for basically 20 years.
The Celtics been in half of them.
The Celtics have been in half of them, yeah. But I mean, this is the first probably since I don't even literally like the Celtics have been in half of them. Paul Pierce was Paul Pierce a superstar? Paul Pierce wasn't a superstar.
No, he was early
Paul
2000s.
Pierce is a superstar.
Superstar.
Like it's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Like two teams for the first time, I think, is the NBA changing
Yeah.
to the point where now you can have just multiple star players and go a long way. I don't even think Miami has multiple star players. I think they got a heck of a lot of role players.
I think it's a couple of things.
Jimmy Butler's a star,
mm-hmm.
and it's a bunch of role players.
That's why I don't have Miami coming out because I don't think they have enough firepower. To be honest with you,
I agree.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, we've been having this argument all season. Who would you rather have? I still think that Jaylen Brown, given his own opportunity, can do everything that Jason Tatum does. I really do believe that. But you look at the caliber of player that they are, you don't really have that on Miami's roster. That's not to say that they need to have it because we can see what you can do with a well-built team.
Yeah.
I think we're getting back to built, not bought. And the crazy thing is Boston didn't buy this team. They built it. They built this team realistically.
Yeah, both. Well, I mean, Miami kind of bought their team. Not really.
No,
they just bought Jimmy. They just bought Jimmy.
I didn't think they bought Jimmy. Jimmy was outcasted. Like it's a very organic thing for him to land there.
I mean,
that's what I mean by that.
I would say that. I think
why somebody is just signing them though. Basically, like you didn't draft them, so you bought the team. Like the Bulls bought their team.
If the Bulls had gotten further, that's a bought team. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, even with them stopping where they at, it's a bought team. It's not a great one. It's not one that made it far, but it's bought. You know what I'm saying? Like bought is just I paid you to come here. But I would say most like Bam was drafted by them. Tyler,
Duncan
ain't getting.
Nah, he would. Nah, he
ain't getting.
Duncan went undrafted. I'm tripping.
No,
I'm tripping. I'm thinking of the school that he went to because they were because I think we got like 3 Division III players on our squad.
Yeah, y'all love the underdogs. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, y'all had Strus on the team. Y'all needed a shooter.
Bro, I don't know what bro. That's a whole different regime, bro. That's a whole different regime. Guess who else we had while we had that? Yeah, you think about this now. We had Strus and Dinwiddie at the same time.
Oh, yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. Bro.
He's looking for Ben scoring.
I threw my phone when I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, we did have him when I saw him in a Bulls jersey, I was like, you gotta be kidding.
Never made the team.
We cut him
to keep Antonio Blakeney.
You gotta be kidding. Where's Antonio Blakeney now?
Not in the league.
Okay, all right. I gotta get back on the
don't say that he in the league. It's the Drew.
No. It's the Drew League.
I gotta hit Stacy up like, yo, you said we can't smoke them, but unfortunately, there's a whole lot of smoke coming this way because we cut a lot of good people, my boy.
We cut him to keep Jeremy Grant. That ain't good either.
How we cut him to keep Jeremy Grant? We ain't got Jeremy Grant either.
Yeah, no, that ain't good either.
Jeremy Grant went to Detroit. He averaging 20. Bobby Porter's got a ring.
Not Jeremy Grant. He meant Jerian Grant. His brother.
Okay, there we talk to me. I was about to have a fit.
His brother, yeah.
I was about to have a whole fit, bro.
Hey, that's kind of tough though. You get the wrong grandbrother, and then after that,
bro, we always get the wrong brother. We got the wrong Teague brother.
You got Lonzo. What's that, LaMelo?
I'm not mad at that one. As long as he can get back healthy, his knee.
He gonna be better though.
That bone bruise is scary, bro. That bone bruise is scary.
I ain't even gonna lie though. Next season, I want LiAngelo in the league. I'm pushing for that.
I mean, so is his dad. It ain't happened yet, though.
Hey,
LiAngelo could shoot.
Bulls need a shooter. They better go take a flyer on that joint.
Hey. I thought about that too. I was like, maybe you get LiAngelo in there.
You let Kobe White run around here doing stuff. Come on, sign that man, dog. Hey, so you better 10-day him, Acme. 10-day that man right now.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Push the button.
But no, I mean, at the point we're at right now, right? We had the wrong holiday too. We had Justin and not Drew. Justin can play a little bit though. I ain't mad at having Justin Holiday. Justin can play. He ain't Drew. He ain't Drew, but Justin can hoop a little bit. I ain't mad at Justin. Man, we always get the wrong.
Marcus Sting.
Yeah, we have Marcus instead of Jeff.
Marcus Sting.
We have Marcus instead of Jeff. We always get the wrong one.
Dang, we did have Marcus instead of Jeff.
Yeah, drafted him over Draymond Green. Over Draymond Green.
Yo,
now
hey.
hold on. That's not a slight to me. Because Draymond at the time, he's a piece that developed well within a system that had two great shooters and he could play within there. He would have came here and looked like complete, you know exactly where I was about to go. He wouldn't have looked good here.
Yes, he would have. Thibs wanted him.
He wouldn't have looked the same.
He wouldn't have been the defensive juggernaut. He wouldn't have been a defensive player of the year here with Thibs.
I'm not saying that he couldn't have been a defensive player of the year. What I'm saying is we have so many other deficiencies that just being defensive minded in itself wouldn't have worked. He shines for Golden State because Golden State needs defense because they got great shooting. So he stands out. Hey, listen, Steph does this. Is he a good defender? No. Klay does this. He was a good defender. He ain't the same Klay no more. So guess what? Who's our defensive presence? Draymond. He fills that gap there. Here it would have been like, okay, Draymond could defend. Can he shoot?
I don't think we did. Not at the 4 though.
Klay can get you a stop. Klay can get you a stop when he needs to. Though.
Oh no, Klay is good. Klay is good. I'm not.
I don't think we'd have used him for shooting here though. We would have used him the same way we used Taj Gibson.
Joe King.
Joe King was 7 feet tall. It makes a difference there.
Hey, listen.
Joe King was a legit 7 feet tall too.
What's the one thing we always say that we needed to get for D Rose? More shooters.
Oh, you needed to shoot. Hey, Marcus Teague wasn't the answer.
Marcus Teague came out with Austin Rivers and thought he had it.
Hey, Marcus Teague,
bro. When y'all drafted him, I was definitely like, no. I'm like, fam, they on CBS every week, and you thought this was the pick?
I really wanted. Hey, Austin Rivers though. I would really,
bro.
Rivers, though.
Let me
when I tell you that depressed me so much, bro.
Hey,
bro, fam, like
we gotta let Pat quarterback.
Yeah, I gotta try and direct the show. We talk about everything, but we need to. Let me ask y'all this though: were you looking at, like I said though, with the two teams that are here tonight, you see that they don't have a superstar. One, how do you feel like? Do you feel like this is setting up for whoever's in the West to win? Like, what's your finals matchup, your dream finals matchup that you feel like if this gets into place, this is what's going to be the most entertaining? Or does it not matter, right? Like, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really good players, but they're going up against Steph. Or they're going to go up against Luka, right? Like, maybe against Luka you feel better because Luka's a superstar and, like, the rest of them are just meh. But
for me, my dream matchup is Mavs versus Boston, simply because I think the league has kind of shown that they want parity. And they're trying to get away from, like, I don't think we'll see more dynasties anymore. I think the league is built for it to be a more competitive, well-balanced, you don't know who's going to win type thing, because not only does it drive dollars, it's more entertaining. Like, for us to not have any superstar outside of Golden State, like, but realistically, if it was Memphis, we would really be hyped about it. Like, yo, we have a brand new champion. None of it is expected. Like, we were really, like, we kind of think and hope that Golden State kind of finishes it out. And I think it just encapsulates their run. But do we really think that they're going to carry it for the next 3-4 years? I think Steph said that their dynasty is probably done after this year. I don't see them
probably.
Yeah, I don't see them getting.
I think this is the last run, right? Like, Klay has health issues. Dre has had health issues. Steph's kind of avoided it for the most part. What was it? His ankle this season again, right?
Yeah, he was down for a loose ball, and Marcus Smart kind of
weird injury landed up. But the difference is, right, when you're older, weird injuries can change your career.
Look at
like Danny Green's career is probably done. He's 37 years old. He's
Oh,
rehabbing
yeah.
from a knee injury. It's an ACL. He's probably done. I hate for it to end that way, right? But like, or he might come back, but he's not going to be the same Danny Green.
He's going to be coaching. I think he's going to be on the coaching staff, development staff. I can see him being around the game that way, but I think his playing days are over, and I hate to see it.
It's how the game goes when you start getting older. Like the fluky injuries pop up more. The fluky injuries happen to you more, and that's kind of what we saw with the Warriors this year. It's an interesting point you made about like dynasties might be going away. So you think the Warriors are going to be the last dynasty?
Yeah,
There's so much talent. I can't
Nah.
say that your point is wrong, right? Because like the talent pool is so ridiculous. It's not that there's like, I think the gap between best players in the league is closer now. Like there was a clear gap between LeBron, Kobe, and Dwight Howard. There was a clear gap between like it was like Kobe and Bron were the top. It was a long way, and then it was Dwight.
Yeah.
Like that was your 2010s. Like the gap between Bron, like I always say, I'm glad Derrick Rose won the MVP. Bron was clearly the best player in the NBA.
Okay, thank you.
Like,
Thank you for
it
saying
was
that.
ridiculous. Oh,
Yeah.
I've always said that. I think Derrick Rose won that MVP because it was a great storyline. He was the hometown kid. He said, "Why can't I win MVP at the start of the year?" He played excellently. Don't get me wrong. He absolutely played at an MVP level, but so did DeMar DeRozan this season. He shouldn't have won it. You know what I'm saying? Like
He needs some pushback just because he got them the best record in the league as a guard. And
but
yeah, I think they had a lot of injuries that year too.
he got him the best record in the league. I don't take anything away from what Derek did.
no, I get you.
When I talk about like MVP, like it's usually like, hey, who's playing the best in the NBA? That's why I felt like
What year are we talking about again?
that would have been 2011, right? 2010.
Yeah, so you take Derrick Rose off that Bulls team, they don't make the playoffs. You take LeBron off of that, Chris Bosh and D Wade get them to the playoffs. So I don't agree with that.
But that doesn't make you an MVP, right? Like I can say that about
Best
Jokic.
individual
I
player
can
with
say
the most impact and the highest with the most impact and the highest is, what do they call it? Win percentage with you on the floor. No one had it higher than Derrick Rose that year.
But it's about are you putting up the best? To me, MVP has always been, are you putting up the best numbers? Are you the most unstoppable player in the league in the NBA?
He was the most unstoppable player in the league that year.
He wasn't more unstoppable than that year's LeBron. That second half of the season, LeBron was the most unstoppable.
Especially when we met y'all in the ECF.
And look, and I don't take it away from he won it is great, but like I feel like there are other factors that go into it besides just Derrick Rose was the unquestioned best player in the league.
I'll let you have it because you know how I feel about Kobe getting robbed. Kobe put up a better year than James Harden. James Harden won MVP.
And Kobe played a better season.
Kobe sat there and gave you the most entertaining season from an individual player you've probably ever seen in the last 20 years. And all of a sudden, no one talks about it because he didn't win MVP. They just remember 81. They don't remember the 63 and 3/4. You remember how Luka had just as many points as the Phoenix Suns in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Hey, Kobe had 63 points. The Mavs had 62.
Hey, I'll say this, just getting back to the question of Dynasty's over. I'm a go ahead and I'm gonna say no, and this is the reason why.
Now,
I'm
what's
gonna
the
play the
dynasty?
long.
3 years, three.
And this is why I say that, right?
Back to back.
I think for
I feel like you gotta have a
back to back.
but yeah, you gotta have a back to back. But this is why I say that though, because
are the Celtics are not the Celtics, are the Spurs a dynasty?
Yeah, no, the Spurs is a dynasty.
They don't have no back to backs.
The Spurs are a dynasty simply because they all have over 50. The criteria changes because
you can take a year off though and still get a chip.
No, that's why I said 2 and 3 years usually makes a dynasty, right? Like no matter how you win it, 2 championships in 3 years. Like when we say Houston, because Houston won a back to back, I wouldn't call them a dynasty. I would say they won.
Houston was on the verge of a dynasty till Mike was like, ha
know
gotcha.
Mike was like, let me take this 4-5 off, put this 2-3 back on real quick.
That's why I said that's how the Warriors feel this year. But no, like you were saying, Steph. So just to establish what you think of dynasty, 2 and 3 years at a minimum.
Yeah. I think there's different criteria. But go ahead, finish your point.
I was just gonna say I don't think it's over. I think that it's gonna be like I think right now it's gonna be like a 2, maybe 3 year break, and then like with the Pirates, like, cause I'm looking at everybody else. Like I'm looking at LaMelo, I'm looking at freaking like all these kids that's like about to come in that like actually want to hoop, and then I'm looking at the Pirates social media. Like sooner or later, these mugs gonna want to start ganging back up again. I mean, because that's essentially all they know. Once they get to losing on that one singular team,
hey, ain't nobody ganging up and losing that level of money though. You realize for Zach LaVine to leave, he's given up $65 million.
That's a misnomer. He's not giving up anything.
But it's not
he's giving up again.
But at a certain point,
you can say brand deals. You can say
don't care about the money.
But this is the thing. You can say brand deals. You can say all this other stuff.
No, that's not why I say that.
It's still $65 million.
No, why I say that
that's just to me. But
here's why I say that. He's going to be on a prove it deal regardless. What I mean by that is he's 27, so he's going to get his first max contract.
Right.
The goal is to get two max contracts. Right. Yeah. That's the goal. Everyone wants to get 2 max contracts when you hit that level. So he's going to have to prove it. If he signs anywhere else, he can still get a max. Technically, he can still make $40 million a year or so because they just give him 160 over 4. That's $40 million a year. He's going to be making the same amount of money as anyone else. He's not going to have as long of a term. So you think of 208 over 5, it's still like $42 million over, $42 million over 5 years. That's all it really is. He'd just be able to hit the negotiating table earlier. So he's not really missing anything. It just sounds good. Like when someone really broke down what these contracts was, like I've been doing a lot of research on this. It just sounds really good. You never know what happens. You want to sit there and say, like in James Harden's situation, he'd be stupid not to opt in. If that boy don't opt in right now, guess what? Pay me. I'll take it.
Hey, listen, I
don't feel bad for you. Y'all did this to yourself.
I told Pat this yesterday. A fool is born once every day.
Hey, no, I said, we was talking about Russ. I said, hey, Russ opting in that mug. I don't care. Hey, I don't care how bad the season went. Opt.
Who's gonna take that money? A fool is born once a day. Trust me.
I want all my chips with dip. I don't care how many. You can boo however you want.
If it's me, I'm definitely going to get the M's, but it's definitely the finesse.
I'll be at every press conference with a stack of hundreds.
I just feel like you're gonna be like the Hulu commercial.
Hey, my money talking too loud.
Draymond was like, I make $45 million a year. I'll be just like Russ. I make $47 million this year. What you got? What you got? Oh, I suck? Yeah, you right. I bet you I pay you my money enough.
It's an interesting thing to look at to me because when you talk about like our dynasties done, I don't know if people are going to opt out of getting that money. Even if it is on a shorter term, right? You're still talking about a different structure of contract. Are you going to be able to build the team the same way with a contract that's structured 4 years, 160 versus 5 years, 212? Are you going to be able to front load, back load the same way, right? Like I think that players are going to stick around. And I'll say this, right? Dynasties might be ending because of European players. Because of how strong European players are in the NBA right now, I'll tell you this right now. They do not leave. Giannis is going to be on the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 15 seasons unless they trade him. Jokic will be on Denver for the next 15 seasons unless they trade him.
I'm gonna give you the next 5 on both. Give you next 5 on both, and that's saying a lot in today's NBA.
If they trade him, it's different. But I don't think there's a loyalty because of how they play overseas. You play for your country. You play for this is where I'm from. Most of them adopt that loyalty when they come here. Like Giannis is the first person you've ever heard in NBA history say, "I don't want to ever leave Milwaukee." hey, Kareem said, "Get me out of here."
I don't know about you. I'm about to go to LA and I'm finna get these rings.
And different times at that point. I will say this. I agree. And then
he did that at a time where mugs were nothing but loyal.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I'm very cautious because one, landscapes are different. 2, Giannis has nothing to prove. Giannis has done everything for Milwaukee. Milwaukee is on the Milwaukee's officially on the map. He has done something that Ray Allen didn't do, Michael Redd didn't do, Kareem hasn't done. I mean, has only done one.
Kareem won a championship.
Yeah, like he's in the conversation for them with the big O.
And Brandon Jennings is still over him.
Brandon Jennings is over everybody in Milwaukee
for some odd reason, right? Like he's done something that's never happened there.
Yeah.
So like he can leave and no one is going to sit there and bat an eye. I could see him wanting to be in a situation where he plays with his brothers and they have an equal opportunity to play.
What you mean? They all on the team.
I could see him doing. that with Alex.
If Giannis say, "Hey, I want Kostas," which one is there? Thanasis. I want Thanasis to get some more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanasis getting some more minutes, my boy. Hey, it's like Chuck said. As long as Giannis got a job, his brothers will never have to work a day in their life.
Hey, Black Dank, that's a real story. I remember they said the story where he sent all his money home and he had to run.
That's the story that I was telling Pat. Like he sent every game check home.
Oh,
he used to get rides from like random people to the game.
It's also crazy. Milwaukee is kind of like that though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like we in a group chat with a bunch of mugs from Milwaukee. They know everybody. They be like, "Oh man, I seen Drew Holiday at the supermarket yesterday. He was cool." You did what? You did what? I've been in this city 5 years with Zach LaVine. I haven't seen him one time.
I ain't never seen that boy.
I seen
just
riding
around the city.
He driving off, but
hey,
that was the night he put 41 on the Spurs. It was him, Joakim Noah, and Carlos Boozer in the car. Yeah, never seen him again.
Hey, Milwaukee's just different, bro. I keep telling us that like there's a whole different vibe in that mug. Like they know these mugs personally, dang near. Giannis pulled up to a Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru in front of my boy at a Chick-fil-A. Hey, the best comment that somebody said was, Ken sent it to the chat. He said, "Hey man, what be going on out in Milwaukee, man? What's the vibe out there?" Somebody said, "Nothing. Giannis just be dunking." Ain't nothing going on out here. Giannis just be dunking, bro.
Yo, wow.
Oh man. Hey, before we get up out of here, we got 8 minutes left. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports and national sports on here daily. As y'all can see, we got into Giannis. We got into the Eastern Conference Finals game ones. Me and Kid both think that Boston's gonna take this first one. Of course, Ringo going with Miami. Got into our superstars and dynasties dead, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, interesting.
I don't think so.
I feel like it'd be interesting. We might have to get into that a little bit deeper. But I do want to get into this because it was the big news yesterday.
The Sox almost smoking it. I've seen that.
No, not the White Sox. Hey, man, they Johnny Cueto threw a gym and they almost.
Hey, that was a gym.
I was pissed, bro. Here's the question. We saw yesterday Pat Bev go on ESPN, and it was free smoke everywhere. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Was Pat Bev out of line, as Matt Barnes said, for going at Chris Paul's head the way that he did? Because he said he was only there to make sure that the slander was directed at the right person. Was Pat Bev out of line for how he went at Chris Paul and kind of exposing some of like the NBA locker room, I guess, secrets. That's kind of what Matt Barnes was talking about. Like there's some things that just stay, in the confines of the brotherhood of the NBA.
What you got, Steph?
I'm okay. So for me, I'm looking
Like
at
take
it.
the
And,
enjoyment out of it. We enjoyed it, but was he
Yo.
out?
hey, first of all, timeout. Pat Bev be watching us. He said if F was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Yeah, you definitely be watching. Shout out,
Hey,
Pat.
so he be
Yeah,
watching. I'm counting that. I feel like some of it was kind of directed towards Chris Paul, and the fact that you feel me, like you telling people like, yo, I was talking to Paul George and we were saying this and Anthony like.
Said they call him traffic cone.
Yo, I don't think it should have been that because at some point, like now, you just getting disrespectful when they brought up I think Stephen A made the point like, why don't you consider him an all-time point guard? And he was like, well, if I've been doing it for 17 years and I got the keys to the Lamborghini, I'm supposed to have those type of numbers. And it's just like, all right, dude, like you kind of, I got what Dame was talking about. Because he hopped on Twitter and was like, yo, you're at this point, you being weird now. Yeah. Like, calling this man a comb. I get nobody scared of Phoenix, but now you getting into whole locker room stuff and what they be calling them. Like, you doing too much. You legitimately broke the code.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's something to do with some trash talk between the Suns and the Timberwolves. If you think about it, Anthony Edwards was also on Twitter posting up about all the stuff that they said. They said they was talking trash and all that stuff, and they was getting blown out like that. So I think it's beef there. At the same time, he did make valid points, and I find it really weird that we are very selective as to who gets slander and who doesn't. Very selective with that, and I've never liked that about media. I've never liked the simple fact that, I'm not a big fan of Kwame Brown. I'm not. I'm really not. I don't like his whole whatever he got going on. But he made valid points. Like they targeted him at times for no apparent reason. It was like, leave the man alone. Let him do what he's doing, right? But when we don't sit there and talk about Chris Paul pretty much having James Harden-like performances in the clutch. It's always an injury. It's always this. It's always that. But he don't show up.
Yeah.
He'll kill any other time. He'll have one or two good games.
I mean, that I'll give him.
He'll have 1 or 2 games. But if it goes 7 and I got Chris Paul on my team, I'm wondering if I got Cliff.
The interesting thing to me was that I don't know if I was watching, like I was on Twitter watching the game 7 and stuff like that. And he literally said before the half, down this much at half, bet somebody come up with an injury.
Hey, and then they said Chris Paul had a quad.
The second the game ended, Chris Paul was limping off. And he was like, what'd I tell you? And it's interesting. Not to say Chris Paul's not hurt. He's faking it. But it is interesting to see, like, we didn't see you limp all series.
I see you limp all series. You showed him
limp. And they was talking about his hand. I'm like, what hand injury?
He did have a hand injury. He missed. He missed game 1, right? He missed one of the games.
He missed last series. He missed
the game last season. Yeah, last series. I know he missed a couple of games he was out. But I don't know, man. It's interesting to me that I think Pat Bev crossed the line on a NBA brotherhood type. You dig?
The locker room talk he shouldn't have.
Locker room talk shouldn't be brought up. But I do agree. I do agree with Pat Bev that we sidestep around our favorite players. I had the conversation on here. Like for me, Chris Paul, it's a debate if he's in the top 5 point guards for me all the time. There's point guards that I can make an argument for that got more jewelry over him. Like I feel like Chris Paul is a better point guard than Jason Kidd was. But Jason Kidd was the reason his team got to 2 NBA finals in New Jersey along with Vince Carter, and is the reason, was a big part of the reason they won in Dallas.
I do not have Chris Paul over Jason Kidd.
I think he's a talent-wise better point guard because he can do more. I don't think that in the
I
top
think he's
5
8.
conversation you can put him above him though.
He has to be 8.
Like when we're talking about, we call him, they've said it all series, all playoffs, the point god.
Magic.
The point god. Magic, Stockton, IT's over him for me. Steph Curry's over him for me. Jason Kidd is over him for me. Steve Nash is over him for me.
Gary Payton's
Hey, and this is the thing. And this is the
GP
thing
gotta
too.
be
Just
for
to
a
hammer
different
the
reason.
point
Yeah,
home, right?
I'd put GP up there.
Hey, GPs could do everything.
Hey, GP used to do everything. But this is the thing too that I wanted to bring up. Chris Paul, the last 2 times that they called him the point guard this year and last year, he choked 2 games in the finals that we seem to gloss out. He choked them 2 games when they was up.
God awful those last 2 games in the finals.
And this year he didn't show up. So Pat Bev got a point. Like we was talking about it in the group chat. He just wants these mugs to be held accountable, and he wants the media to be honest, because the media is selective, which is actually why I like that Kyrie Irving interview that I thought we was gonna bring up, but we can talk
Absolutely
about
love that interview.
time.
I love that interview for real.
On the I Am Athlete.
I love that interview for real, man. That I because he's never really spoken on some of those things. You've never heard him actually speak on some of those topics. So to actually hear his side and his perspective, some of which we already knew, I appreciate it. I actually appreciate the growth and people, and maybe people can stop saying, "Oh, flat Earth," like it was a joke.
They're not gonna stop.
It was a joke. Shut it up. Like your mama thinks the Earth is flat. I don't know.
There's a real easy way to shut it up. Play ball. I don't know. Like Kyrie bring a lot of stuff on himself. I got to check the interview out. I haven't seen it, so maybe it'll clear some things up. But for me, Kyrie be bringing a lot of stuff on himself. It'd be like, I don't understand why they're talking about me today. It's like, well, Kyrie, your team's struggling, and
some of those narratives he addressed, because some of those narratives had nothing to do with what actually happened.
And my thing is, it just didn't have nothing to do with what was happening on the court. Muggs don't know how to separate his personal from.
Yeah, I get. You can't go at the personal. When you start getting into the personal, I think you whack on that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think you whack on that. But there's a lot of times where it'd be like, some of these mugs be like, "Why are you talking about me as a basketball player?" Well, I hate to tell you this, but this is a sports talk channel, and you're a basketball player. like KD would do that. KD would do that real quick, bro.
From a basketball perspective, though, he's probably the most skilled player in the league.
He probably is. I don't take it, but I get when Muggs be like, but just show the skill. We just want to see the skill. That's all I want. Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another show, man. We've been on here chopping it up, breaking down a whole bunch of different stuff. ECF Game 1 is tonight. Make sure that you guys are in the Discord, joined up in the Discord, because you know we're going to be in that mug talking about the game over there as well. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another show, man. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports and national sports daily on this channel from 11 to 1 every day. So get in tune with us on that, man. Anybody else got anything? Anybody else?
Baki, I'm still waiting on my game. I'm still
on the Discord tonight, my man.
Hey, I heard Baki got worked out.
Nah, he did. He did.
Hey, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.
Dang, Baki, you gonna let him get out like that?